This is the vlog for November 26th, 2018. This is my last day in Washington, D.C., and because we're getting in late, so late tonight, I didn't want to risk trying to do one of these after I had gotten home after being on a plane for at least 5 hours. Very late at night. Probably wouldn't have made the deadline for this to be November 26th anyway. But I don't have too much to add after last night. I'm going to eat better today. That's my number one goal, even if I'm eating nothing at all or just I probably don't need a meal on the plane. I'll eat something at the airport good and early, or at my sister's place. Use the restroom, be quite ready to go. As I get older, I have to think more about using the restroom, especially when traveling. I do not like using the restroom on airplanes. So the goal is to eat as little as possible before getting on a flight, or at the very least, being sort of empty by the time I get on the plane. Doesn't always work, but I've managed to do pretty well over the last few years. The other thing that I've found, well, let me put it into perspective. When I went to Okoboji, I overpacked. We were only down there for about 4 days, 3 nights total, maybe. And so I brought my iPad with a bunch of movies on it. I brought this laptop. I don't remember if I brought my Nintendo Switch, but I think I was considering it. I had my phone, and I had, because I was still in the grips of my D&D sort of kick, I had packed Dungeons and Dragons books, I think, in my carry-on. Maybe I didn't. Well, I was definitely reading the PDFs that I had. I was in D&D mode. But when we were leaving Seattle, I had to take all the electronic stuff out and put it separately in the bin to go through security, which was sort of a bear. I had to take out the laptop. I took out the charging cable for the laptop, the charging cable for the iPad and my phone. I had to take out my phone. And my headphones, and I dumped them all in the bin along with my wallet and my belt. And I sent all that stuff through security, walked through, and then spent what felt like 15 minutes just collecting everything and getting it back together. And by then I felt like I was really running late, and I needed to. My parents, of course, being the elderly folks that they are, usually get TSA pre-check, so they can just answer a form online, and they're through security like nothing. Just greased lightning. I, on the other hand, being a virile young man of 37, never get that benefit, so I just have to, do whatever they ask me to at the security checkpoints. So this time, I decided to go light. I have my phone charging cable, this laptop charger, and the earbuds that came with my iPhone, and that was it. That's basically all that's in my bag. Of course, now that I've done that, the security process at the airport, even for non-pre-check people, is to walk past a dog, let them sniff you, and then put a handful of things in your pockets into a bin, not even removing your belt or shoes, and walk through the security checkpoint. And frustratingly, while 3 days really didn't call for all the stuff that I brought with me for the last trip, 8 days here has definitely left me with a feeling of not having as much to do. And at the same time, I don't know if I would have ever been comfortable like taking out the Switch and playing it in the family room while my parents were around, or if I was out at the coffee place. I think I still would have been stuck. I think I still would have been going, you know, what do I do now? If this trip had gone more to plan, I would have had a table and a chair to do writing at in a room by myself. Um, and I think I would have been a lot more relaxed. I still would have gone over to my sister's place and seen little Isla. But I think my sister would have benefited even more from not having my parents just, in her business for so long. This whole thing has been played by ear, and my sister being late with the labor was never according to plan. My brother-in-law being stressed out about having to entertain guests, having to get used to having a baby, having to get his dog used to having a baby. I want to give him a hug, but I also don't want to, get in his face. I don't want him to feel like I'm one more thing he has to worry about. And it was really cool. The half hour that we had to just sort of chat, he showed me all this cool stuff in his basement. All of these things from his tours of duty in Afghanistan and Iraq. Things that he's gotten handed down to him from being just in the Marine Corps in general. He had a mountain of patches from units that he'd worked with, because apparently it's customary if you do good work together and you get along, you trade patches for your unit with whoever you're working with. And he opened up this bag just stuffed full of these things. He's done, I want to say, 4 tours of duty total, not counting the work he's doing now for the Marine Corps. He's been, annoyingly to him, he's been back and forth to school multiple times for basically the same thing. He has a mountain of books on combat theory and military protocol and all these military history. He is an incredibly intelligent person, and he unfortunately has not read nearly as many books on how to handle a pregnant wife or a wife with a newborn, which is what's given him a ton of frustration recently. My sister's going through a lot of changes, and she doesn't know exactly what her body wants or needs at any given moment. She just knows that she has to care for Isla, and that's her number one priority, and everything else is secondary. So she's stressed out, and he's stressed out, and the dog's stressed out from being in doggy prison for a week. And of course, Isla is stressed in the same way that all newborns are stressed. She either wants to eat or she wants to sleep. She doesn't think consciously about pooping. That's just something that she does automatically between the two. And she cries whenever she feels like she is not getting the thing that she needs at that particular moment, although blissfully, she is not she's not a baby that just cries to cry. Once she's actually comfortable, she just stops, and she's very pleasant. Today's probably the day I'm going to get handed the little girl to hold, at least for a short while, before I head home. So I'm still trepidatious about that, but if we can fit it in, that's fine. I'll be glad to have done it. The stress of travel. At least it hasn't felt as bad this time as it did for Okoboji. Okoboji just felt like such a whirlwind. And this has been less of a whirlwind and more of a consistently bad weather. The weather has actually been pretty pleasant. The only problem is the 2 days where it was sunny and very, very cold did not really work well for going out. So I only really got 2 days down at the mall out of these 8 days. But still, I'm really glad I came. I really am. As much complaining about the Airbnb and the stress level of my family. Being at the Natural History Museum and the Air and Space Museum were really wonderful. And seeing my niece, she's really, really pretty. She's a very cute baby. I should have known, given that her parents are both gorgeous. It's been wonderful. So Tomorrow I'll be back at home. I'll be relaxed and hopefully get some writing done. I really need to get back in the swing of things. I'm not going to meet the NaNoWriMo requirement, but if I can get the book finished in the next couple of weeks and then start shopping it around, that would be nice. I think it's sort of futile to hope that I'd have it sold before Christmas or before the new year, but I can hope. Anyway, I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.